Alrighty then. I'm sure you're glad you can hear my voice again. Yay. Which one? So yeah, this is a new game, but first, obviously, I owe you guys an explanation. So, for the most part, most people know I had yet another surgery, but it wasn't as major. It was just kind of an annoying one because if you guys remember when I told you about the first surgery, the big one, I had gone to be checked for some other stuff, and during the process of checking me on those other spots, they found the one on the the titty, and they just told me that one has to be the one we do first. And then now, so half a year later, they finally were able to do the other ones. So they finally cut out a bunch of basically tumors, and I am okay. Again, this surgery was a lot less major than the other one. It was just multiple cuts in comparison to the first one. So, yeah, that one would have put me out for just 2 weeks. But what would explain the other 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Well, two of those weeks were mostly, admittedly, WoW Classic, but also WoW Classic became addicting not because of the game itself, but because I'm basically going through a process which I'm calling Schrodinger's relationship, essentially where a breakup, quote unquote, happened due to work issues, and it is so vague and unclear as to how it's being handled that I don't know how what's supposed to be going on. So it stressed me out. If you a conversation can't really be had either because both parties are seemingly unwilling to be able to push the other one into it. So it's just kind of really lame. But that kind of put me in a really bad rut. I couldn't function too much, and it got really bad with WoW Classic because it's honestly an addicting game, and when you're really sad and mopey and whatnot, you tend to fall back on those things. At least it wasn't, drugs or anything, except probably soda, but yeah, I just kind of got all sad and emo for a while. Then the surgery, obviously, that one just took me out by force. Even if I wanted to come back, I wouldn't be able to. Even if it doesn't cripple me, essentially, I couldn't raise my arms on the desk for too long before I started, feeling like my skin was about to rip open. So yeah, but now I'm back, and I'm still sad about that whole situation. But after having talks with a bunch of friends, after, a lot of soul searching and that kind of stuff, if I keep going into these depressive bouts whenever something bad happens and, taking a month or two to, get myself together, then that means I'm just always going to be miserable, right? Uh, this is going to sound kind of funny, but I was watching BoJack Horseman, and, BoJack's friend in that show, he lost his dream. He lost everything. He got backstabbed and such, but he lived a much happier life. And there's supposed to be, you use him as a comparison to the main character who's also depressed. And the idea is this, that even though his dream didn't come true, he was still happy in his life because, he did other things. You don't necessarily need to have or continue whatever is making you happy right now in order to be able to be happy again. And in a kind of funny way, that one really resonated a lot. Because what I had before in the relationship and all that other stuff made me extremely, extremely happy. But, much like I was really depressed when when my marriage fell apart, I bounced back and got happy again. So, they always tell you time heals all wounds. So it might as well be a thing I follow, right? By the way, back to the game. As you can see, it was going really sour in the start, but then it bounced back, and all is good for Nunu. I'm not really all too impressive because in most cases I showed up, and set up the situation and then died, and then the timer for assists ran out, so my score looks far worse than it probably could have been. But at this point, we've basically gained control of the map, or at least control the lanes, so to speak, even though they have a twisted fate who should have been able to basically guarantee that. And in some cases, he was. But basically, they're not pushing that advantage. Like, once they do something, like, get a couple kills or whatever, they leave. They could have taken a tower and forced us to be in a much more defensive position, but they didn't. When the Twisted Fate killed me on top with the Tom, he should have stayed and they should have just taken that tower. But I assume they had some differences in whether or not to farm. Here, they basically gang up on me. I go back on the Twisted Fate, CC him, and Rumble gets a mostly good ultimate. It chunks them for a lot, but I still drop and Fortunately, we killed two of theirs, so it's a it's an even it's a positive trade for us. And then you know, mostly going well. The Rumble right now, unfortunately, overcommitted, and Yamumu hadn't apparently used his ultimate and got 2 kills for his team. So you can see that this is still technically anyone's game. But to my team's advantage, we kind of have, pretty good wombo combo initiation. I go in, and then Rumble's ultimate just annihilates them. They don't really have any mobility, so it'd be pretty devastating on them. Also, yeah, that Ashe panicked a whole ton. Here, I summon Herald to take the tower. I try to kill the Zyra. Snowballer, dodge the tower, or I get hit with the tower, but I dodge out of the range and they eat a minion. Then I go to her. In comes a Moo, but then in comes my homie teleporting the top. I try to catch Zyra. Doesn't really happen too much. Moo uses ultimate. Time runs away, and I can't just abandon them, so I just kind of hang about, trying to scare them away with presence, making it it'll be a 2v2, and maybe they make them think that, hey, maybe there's other people, because otherwise the Nunu would have run away, right? Anyways, my other teammates can't get a good catch on the Twist of Fate, and Rumble shows us because of the Zyra. So good on them. Then the Ashe way overcommits. She didn't have the damage to kill the Lulu, so she got herself in a terrible position, got caught and destroyed. So yeah, the enemy team is mostly just making a lot of bad decisions. Not necessarily saying they're bad players, maybe, yeah, but they're making bad decisions all around. Also, just about coming back, I don't know what the hell I missed, but the fact that the jungle game has changed a lot, and right now it seems to be super fast junglers like Shyvana, and I guess Echo's not really fast, but he's there. And then Shaco is like the best support or something. I don't know. I was streaming and everyone was telling me, "Oh, Stonewall, Shaco is the best support right now," and I was like, "This can't be. I don't ever want to see that bastard again." So now I've been just kind of auto banning him in every single game, and then they're telling me that Kale was abused at Worlds, so now everyone's abusing Kale. And so now I have to deal with, Kale. Kale was terrible when it was served with coconut oil to me. I seen her in top lane every game. That's just a nightmare now. So yeah, you can see enemies pushed in, and the score is a little inverse, 21 and 12. Kind of funny. Right now, we're just kind of, we reveal that we don't really have strong push, but we kind of have to rely on them sort of putting themselves in a terrible position. And here it's kind of it. My ultimate pretty much hits like a, paperweight, or paperweight actually kind of hurts, kind of like a feather. Mumu gets a pretty damn good initiate, but unfortunately for him, his team wasn't really there to take full advantage of it. So unfortunately for Mumu's good ultimate, none of us die. That really does suck to see, to get that pristine top level ult, or mostly top level ult, and then just nothing comes of it, except, your death. And here, they just kind of surrender, but because the replay bugs out like crazy all the time, and they still haven't fixed it even though I've been gone for 2 months, you just kind of get to see that, rupture. With all that said, it's kind of great to be back, even though I kind of missed the ending of the season. But hey, if my spirit keeps up, I'll try even harder next year.